first, when I think about local advertising, you look at the viewers. And one of the things we've uncovered in this analysis we've done recently and called the TV Viewership Report really highlights there's an amazing amount of change happening in television, both on the national front, but especially on the local front. And that has to do with viewership habits changing. Over the last 10 years, the last 5 years, and even within the last year, we're seeing the scale of the viewers and their habits changing dramatically. Of old, you would think that prime time in the top 3 networks is all you really need to do to capture viewers, whether it's a local or on a national basis. Today, more than 2/3 of the advertising of the viewers within television are occurring outside of prime. And when you think about that, and they're spending about 6.5 hours per day watching television, dramatic changes from what we thought in the past. And when we apply that to the local marketplace, we start thinking about why did that happen, how did that happen? And VOD is one of the primary drivers. We're seeing that growth more than double since 2016. So we think about that and say, what should we be doing? How do we further invest within our business? And one of the first things we've done is we've taken a look at, television is incredibly engaging. We know that and it's dramatically changing. How do we measure that engagement on television and how it correlates and attributes to engagement on digital? So we introduced a product suite called Instant Impact. We started it way back when just for automotive and uncovered that we can use this for the general marketplace. And it really looks at a way of gauging a viewer and seeing how they then engage with the digital enterprise, whatever that may be, whether it's on their mobile device all the way through to laptops, desktops, and the like. And we found that there's a direct correlation between, and we can see that viewership happening and how they're engaging on the digital side. And so if you think about that full funnel solution where you have the awareness, consideration, the intent, and then the sale, we're able to provide that for marketers. When we started that with the automotive space with dealers who were very interested in looking at the traffic that dealers were seeing, not both in their dealerships, but also on their web pages. And so we were able to show when you advertise with us on Comcast, you can see a direct correlation to web traffic increasing based on those advertisements. And Instant Impact afforded us to do that and say, wait a minute, we can do this for local markets in respect to auto dealers. We can also now do it for national, regional, and local, of course, any market. And so we're rolling out this Instant Impact enterprise-wide this quarter.
So, and what about politics? That's going to be a big category for you guys. What can we expect there?
Yeah, so we're about to release a new report, and it's called Winning Strategies for Political Advertising. And what we've uncovered there is that we looked at the mid-2018 term elections and found that if you correlate the winners, there's a strong correlation between the winners and how they actually manage their advertising campaigns. And the first thing we started to see is that these advertisers that won spent more time and more dollars across multiple networks, across multiple day parts, than those that didn't win spend more time on smaller networks, the top three networks, or within primetime day parts. The other correlation that we saw, highlighting is the winners had a greater correlation in terms of the length of their campaigns. So if you started earlier in the campaign, all the way up through to the election day, you had a better propensity to be winning than those that had shorter flights and then only ended up losing their campaign. So the findings are in great detail, but today I just wanted to highlight that we see there's an amazing, powerful correlation between how you advertise, where you advertise, the day parts you're selecting, and especially the term and the length of those campaigns.
And what about the targeting side, the addressable side? How has that changed, and what tools you're using there, and to what degree are ads addressable, or should they be addressable on Comcast Spotlight?
Well, they definitely should be addressable, for sure. The key is scalability, and to ensure that you're doing it correctly, we put together an initiative called On Addressability. And this is really where Comcast Advertising has taken the lead charge in terms of recognizing there's an incredibly, I'll call it a pent-up demand in terms of what is addressable, what isn't addressable, and making sure that the marketplace understands the standards, the best practices, and how do you provide effective tools. So with Comcast, what we've done is partnered with Charter and Cox to ensure that we can have a industry-wide standards and best practices that we can provide for both local advertisers all the way up through national advertisers to be that much more effective for addressable advertising.
And just briefly in terms of buyers for Comcast Spotlight, in addition to the traditional local car dealer, what are the opportunities, or what do you think the value is to other kind of categories, both local and national, and where might that be going?
Well, great question. So I think that first you have to think about what is the marketer looking for. They're using broadcast for reach and efficiency, and they're recognizing though that there's a lot of opportunity to be much more hyper-targeted in local respective marketplaces where they may have brick and mortar storefronts and the like. And so with Comcast or any cable provider, you have an opportunity to hyper-target all the way down to the zone level for those particular marketers, and do that in a scalable way across multiple markets. With Comcast, we have 67 markets, 35 million households. So in terms of national markets, having that quick access to that kind of depth and breadth is sort of unprecedented. We really haven't been able to provide that in scale in that turnkey of a fashion ever before. Then down to the locally based, locally placed marketers to be able to hyper-target within their particular zone is something they haven't had before in the past as well.
And finally, what message would you like to come out of our event on Wednesday in terms of why local is important?
Because it is important. It's incredibly important both for national advertisers who need, if you think back, everybody talked about acting global, thinking global and acting local. Here we are in that local marketplace, providing for global marketers the opportunity to hyper-target down to the consumer basis.